Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Can We Be Frank show. So I want to start the show off with this video. I thought I didn't realize that it was on until I just picked it up, but I kind of got it. I want to talk about several things, even though I named the show Wednesday Wisdom. And I think I put in the description box several things we're going to talk about. But I saw something that hit me today, and I just so happened was looking at Nat Turner's post, and we definitely need to talk about some stuff. I want to talk about the young man. His name is Trey, that got hung at the Delta University in Mississippi, and the other young man who also got hung. But I'm gonna bring back to that. But I want to bring this up real quick. I want you guys to see this. Let's see here. This is what. Okay. So let's present this. Let's see here. Okay.
It never even served. But when I say that you are the least qualified FBI director in the history of the FBI, that is real, because you are the only one that never even served with the FBI prior to joining. Yet we are supposed to believe that
That's
you are
false.
The greatest thing since sliced bread. I didn't ask you a question. Now, what I want to go through is to talk about why you are a failure and why, honestly, we just need to tell you bye-bye. And frankly, when people sit around and say things like, oh, you know, we're happy because now we feel safe. I don't know who feels safe in this country except for the white supremacists, because I specifically as a Black woman definitely don't feel safe. I don't have any confidence in you. And if we start talking about the reasons that I lack confidence, we could start with you not just wanting to acknowledge some simple facts. Simple facts like the vast majority of the threats are coming from right-wing extremism. So I'm confused about what it is that the FBI is doing except for trying to put on a show for The Apprentice or whatever you want to call him. The day after all of this took place, there was domestic terrorism that was taking place at HBCUs. They were targeted. Yet I didn't hear anything from the FBI about what was going on. And again, Black people kept saying, how did we end up in this? Because the numbers are so very clear that white supremacy is a problem. And honestly, I've not heard anything out of you today that makes me believe that you're going to do anything about the white supremacy problem. The one that is leading to children being killed, children being shot, as well as members of their community as they're worshiping in their churches. But when I say that you are the least qualified FBI director in the history of the FBI, that is real.
So I wanted to put that there so you guys could hear what Jasmine Clarkson said about Cash Patel. She said, you are the least qualified. No type of experience with the FBI, and you got a position. They were talking about, I was watching something else where they were talking about how sloppily he dresses for a person in the position that he holds. And somebody had to remind that person, and y'all got to remember, he came off a podcast wearing muscle t-shirts. So to get him in a suit to look decent, is hard. If you ever notice how he looks when he's standing behind people, he just looks so out of place as the FBI director. I mean, these people, it's like you cannot make this up in America. You cannot make this up. It's too crazy that these people are in charge of our security. Look at I call him Hedgehog. Look at him. He looks like a straight alcoholic. There's nothing he can do to make himself look any different. He looks like a straight alcoholic. After a while, if you know what an alcoholic is and you know how an alcoholic reacts to stuff, he looks exactly like an alcoholic, especially one who's been drinking for a minute. And we let these people be in charge. We allow these people to be in charge. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I was thinking, but like I said earlier, you guys probably didn't hear me, but earlier I was thinking about let me take this off the screen. I was thinking about talking about us stepping away from a lot of this stuff. And how we should look at it. I know one thing I wanted to tell you guys. Today is September 17th, and I think it's a blackout day, business blackout day, 17th through the 20th, where we don't spend no money. And I think it's through the whole month of September, and I think they have some dates in October too, that they're going to be doing these blackouts with seeing the impact like we did on Target and all the other places. So there's a possibility that they're doing something today through the 20th. Okay. I can't remember what it was. I should have wrote it down and I should have checked it, but I didn't. But anyway, we're doing something like that right now. So I want to get into, and I was talking about that. Then another thing came to my mind, and I'm going to put a pin in that. Another thing came to my mind was I said in the description box for this show tonight that there's some things that we're going to have to figure out. They told us, don't get so comfortable resting and relaxation, and, doing the stuff that we're doing. And I kind of disagree with that. And I'm saying that for me, I think this has been a very trying time for us, despite the way that we want to feel like it doesn't bother us, but it does. It indirectly affects us. Whether we want to admit it or not, especially when you're talking about 300,000 Black women losing their jobs. That indirectly affects us. That's a Black woman who was, and I said that before, was taking care of their families and doing everything. Now they're suffering from that. Okay, they're not able to do those things. Hopefully they did a good thing with their finances, and hopefully that they found something else to do in the meantime. But I also heard that there's courts that's telling them that they have to hire those people back because they were falsely fired. It was illegal firing all those people. And a lot of people also have lawsuits that are out there. Your president probably have the most lawsuits against him right now, open on him right now, than any other president. So hopefully that's what they're doing. I hope they are suing him. The ideal that, and I know to each his own, everybody can believe and think the way they want to. I'm not trying to be that person to try to tell people what they need to think and everything. But you guys, we have to pay attention to a lot of stuff that's going on. It bothered me and it made me cringe too. I don't know if I got the video on that. I don't know if I showed it Monday or not. I can't remember, you guys. I'm serious. I just got to go back and watch. Sometimes I go back and watch the show. Sometimes I don't. But it's a lot of things that are going on that it's so much. And they love to bombard you with a whole bunch so your mind will stay in this whirlwind. Everything is going on. But I want to talk about us really do. We do. Maybe we do need to rest in a sense, but I think we should stay sharp. I think we should stay up on what's going on too, not to get so caught up in it, but understand why it's happening. I mean, do you guys agree, Tavares? Do you agree with that? That we don't have to definitely get so involved in it, but yet and still stay current and stay up to date with it.
Yeah, that'd be wise. You got to stay aware, stay woke.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, there's and there is a lot going on right now. You guys know that he's over there in UK right now, um, looking orange. Okay. I'm sorry, I wouldn't invite him to my front yard. I just would, but I know there he's the person in charge, and he has made a mess of America. I don't care what nobody says. He has made a terrible mess of America, and it's crazy that we've allowed him to do that. I want to share with you guys what I wrote. I posted today on my Substack because I think it'll go great with what we're talking about here. Um, real quick. It was like, man, okay. And you guys, you can go back and read this anytime you want. You guys, I think it would be awesome. And I call this our hold up, not that part. Um, I call this Frankly Speaking Wednesdays. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and read to you what I wrote because I'm on the series right now, talking about leadership, identity, and it's leadership identity or just identity crisis. So I say, good day. Let's start with the textbook definition. Leadership identity is the self perception of being a leader. Your beliefs, values, behaviors, and experiences wrapped up in a title. Sounds official, right? So technically, anyone with a little confidence in a resume can call themselves a leader. But after watching the last 100 days unfold, I'm starting to think we're living in a simulation because what's passing for leadership in America, baby, that ain't it. Wait, did I warn you I wasn't going there? This is a far cry from fashion, skincare, empowerment, but it is, frankly speaking, Wednesday, and I don't do fluff. Every morning I wake up wondering, what has America done now? It's like a spoiled child who throws tantrums when told no, blames everyone else for its mess, and then goes full scorched earth when it doesn't get its way. And the leader, whew, no moral compass, no accountability, just ego, arrogance, and chaos on repeat. Leadership identity, more like identity crisis. America, let this man lead twice, and now folks are walking around like, did we really do that? One hand regrets it, and the other hand is still trying to figure out what just happened. So today, we're not just talking leadership, we're dissecting delusion. Because if leadership is just a self perception, then maybe it's time to start checking receipts, beliefs, questionable values, misaligned behaviors, narcissistic experience, sure, but experience doesn't equal integrity. And while this might feel far from my usual talk of Vita One Fashion, Ebony Elixir, skincare, and empowerment coaching, it's all connected because real leadership starts with truth, with legacy, and with accountability. And if you're building a brand, a movement, or a life worth living, your leadership identity better be more than just vibes. That's what I wrote today, right on time with this conversation we're having. You like that, Tavares? Was that good?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Okay,
Yeah, it was
thank
a
you.
good description.
Okay, thank you, sir. Don't say that because you're my son, okay? But
No, it
anyway,
was really well written.
okay, thank you, sir. Um, so Look, so I said I wanted you guys to hear that because that's what we're dealing with on an everyday. You know, okay, for instance, you remember the Groundhog Day movie? Remember that movie, The Groundhog Day? Do y'all feel like y'all in the Groundhog Day?
You know, it just progressively gets more and more messed up.
Exactly, exactly. We get up every day, it's the same thing until something happens. And you just wait, it's going to happen. Every day, something has taken place. Somewhere, somehow, something has taken place, right? Some event. So, getting off that soapbox right there, let's move on. So, wait a minute, before I go there, I got so much I want to talk about. So before I go there, so today I did my Wednesday readings. Anybody who wants to join our Black Queens reading Facebook page, definitely do that. Anybody who wants to subscribe to my Queen Universal YouTube channel, please do that. Please do that. I read over there too on Wednesdays. Both those days, I mean, both the times right behind each other mainly. I read on those two on that day, on Wednesdays. I usually do it on Wednesdays. So I was basically saying, in over here when we're in this, we're doing when we're doing this show, Couldn't Be Friends show, I always talk about people who comment and say things, and they're not just looking, they actually interact with us. I love it, I love it, I love it. Well, I was talking about earlier how I have these Facebook pages, and I do that not only for me, I do that for people who want to have a place to say whatever. The Universal Collective Network whole page was built off of you guys having somewhere that you can talk and say things that you want to say. We built that platform because we kept getting kicked out of everybody else's house because of the things that we were saying. So we created Universal Collective Network so that you guys can listen or comment. So I was basically saying that I would like more people to comment on the pages that we have that I picked for you guys. Okay. Because I do this because I think it's so important that we understand each other's opinions. We don't have to agree with everybody's opinion, but we can definitely understand. And I learn all the time when we talk. I learn all the time. So I opened up those pages for that to happen. Hello. I opened up the pages so that we have those places that we can talk. You can talk to me on YouTube. I have 3 YouTube channels on YouTube. I have Queen Universal readings over there. I have my regular Selena McCall page over there. I have Music Princess. On my Music Princess page, I have 8 people. That's it, 8 subscribers. That's it. Nobody else. Okay. So those are pages that I use. Those are all for you guys, for everybody to join in. And lots of times people forget, that those pages out there because I forget all the different groups I'm in. But every now and then, if I see one go over my timeline, either I'm going to say something, I'm going to like something or something, or I will definitely share it over on my pages. If you guys see on my main Facebook page, I share a lot of stuff. I don't say much, but I share a lot of stuff because I actually can use that stuff when we do these shows, right? Or when I do my other show. So I really do wish you guys would be more interactive because we've been on here for a long time. So I wish you guys would be more interactive with us on here, you guys. So I wanted to get that out because I think you guys make this show. Kevin, Tavares, Miss Dixon, Miss Battles, Miss Colson. Miss Colson, it's been a while since she's been on there. She came on the other night. Nat, Miss Thomas, Miss Agnes, all you guys make these shows for us. We enjoy Brother Jay. Y'all make these shows for us. When you guys come in and comment and be in the chat or even come on the panel, I love it. I love it. Okay, because this is all for you guys. So, saying that and moving on, I just wanted to say that, you guys, and I truly appreciate each and every person who has taken time out to hang out with us when we do these shows. Okay, and I know I'm not good at marketing. I am very bad at marketing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how I passed it in college, but I did. Because I'm not good at marketing my own stuff. I can market other people. I just can't market myself. and I have to learn that. Something I'm gonna have to learn how to do is market myself. And I've spent I spent a lot of time, money on tools, but don't know how to use it or don't use it at all. But yeah, so I wanted to get that out there. So next, let's talk about these. I want to talk about Mississippi. I want to talk about Mississippi because Mississippi got a serious problem, and I think we need to see how to address that problem, not to just see what they're doing. Mississippi, I can't even spell it. Missis. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so let's hold up. Okay. Let me put this on here real quick. I'm going to talk about these hangings, lynchings. I don't want to say hangings. Let's talk about lynchings.
Adobe Acrobat Studio is all new. What can PDF Spaces with AI do? Do your marketing needs in one spot. An AI assistant? Show me what you got. AI breakdowns on trend reports. Unlock key insights on the rise of shorts. Do quick summaries, show me what to read. AI, give me just the numbers, please. Do a recap of all your learning. Add an AI graphic of potential.
We are continuing to follow a developing story out of Bolivar County that many of you are talking about. Authorities releasing new details after the death of a Delta State student found hanging from a tree on campus. This discovery was made just after 7:30 yesterday morning. He is identified as 21-year-old Demartravian Reed from Grenada. Family and friends call him Trey. His body has been sent to the state crime lab for an autopsy. 3 on your sides, Quentin Smith joins us now with those new details. Quentin, do we know if foul play was involved?
Reporting in at this time, the Bolivar County coroner does not believe foul play is involved. He says he's not ruling this a homicide nor suicide. He says it's a death investigation. However, Reed's family announced today they will have an independent autopsy done on him. This as family, state, and university leaders are asking for answers and transparency. After investigating the death of Delta State University student Demartravian Reed, also known as Trey, the Bolivar County coroner says his office can confirm that the deceased did not suffer any lacerations, contusions, compound fractures, broken bones, or injuries consistent with an assault. The coroner goes on to say there's no evidence to suggest the individual was physically attacked before his death. Despite these findings, some say there are still more questions than answers surrounding Reed's death.
Because it's not every day you wake up in 2025 and there's a man hanging from a tree on a college campus.
State Representative Kabir Kareem admits he was disturbed when he first heard the news about what happened at Delta State. That's why he and the Legislative Black Caucus are asking investigators to do a thorough investigation to get to the bottom of what happened.
With the climate that we are in America, you can wake up and basically you might hear anything. And that's why we can't take this particular situation lightly. But we don't want to embellish or overstate. We want to make sure that we're watching, and we want the public to know that we're watching.
One of our students is gone, and we will never forget that.
Dr. Daniel Enos is the president of Delta State. Although he and the university are saddened by this tragedy, he maintains the campus is a safe place for all students and says the university is working with police in this ongoing investigation.
In the middle of all this, yes, we continue to cooperate with investigators. We continue to make sure that all the information necessary is given to authorities, and we continue to hope for answers.
Reed's family announced today that civil rights attorney Ben Crump has been retained in this case. Crump released a statement saying, "We cannot accept vague conclusions when so many questions remain. I stand with this family, and I will lead a team of civil rights leaders and organizations in pursuing transparency and answers. Now, another man was also found hanging from a tree yesterday, this one in Vicksburg. He has been identified as Corey Zakatis. He's a white man from Brandon. He was found hanging in the woods near the Ameristar Casino. His body has been sent to the crime lab for an autopsy, which will then determine the exact cause and manner of his death. I do want to point out, officials say these cases are not connected. Delta State will host a press conference tomorrow morning, and we will be there, and we'll bring you the latest details as they unfold both on air and online at WLBT.com. Quentin Smith, 3 on your side.
Adobe
Okay.
Acrobat Studio is all new. What can PDF spaces with AI do?
Okay. So, hey, you guys. Hey, how are you guys doing today? Hope you're doing great. Yeah, it doesn't matter about hanging because according to the laws of Mississippi, lynching is still legal. Yeah, we're going to check that out. It should be some kind of video showing him walking with the rope on campus or something. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Nat. That's something. That's real. Yeah, that is so right. You are so right about that. It should be somebody saw something if the cameras on that campus was working. Because you know how it is. Sometimes our cameras don't work on our campuses, right? But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. Look. So we got that going on, and there's another. I want you guys to listen to what this young lady is saying. Let me pull it up. And it hit me when I saw it. I was like, you know what? I want you guys to really, really listen to what she's saying. Give me a second here. I'm gonna play this one first. Okay, so I want you guys to hear this young lady and listen to her carefully.
I just dropped my daughter off at my parents'. And my heart is broken. I talk about my dad a lot, and I've written about him a lot. Because as I've gotten older, I've understood him more. He grew up in Mississippi in 1944 on a plantation. He was the son of a sharecropper who was the son of an enslaved man. And when I told him what happened to Trey Reed, he said, they said it was a suicide, huh? And I said, yeah, they did. And he said, it's never a suicide. And then he broke down crying in my arms. He's going to be 81 on Friday. And he's carried around so much unhealed trauma from what he grew up in. He grew up in Mississippi in Jim Crow. And you guys are acting like there isn't still racism and trauma that affects people on a daily basis. And you're going to try to gaslight us into thinking that this young man was found hanging in the middle of Delta State University and it was just a suicide? Seriously? And you don't think that people like my dad aren't going to be triggered by things like that and have all of that trauma? My dad's lucky to be alive because of the crap that he went through in the South and the things that he saw. I had to take a minute. I share all of that because I just want people to realize how not far removed we are from that era. My dad turns 81 on Friday. And this is all part of his lived experience. I struggled if I even wanted to say anything.
So, so you heard what she said, right? You guys heard what she said. Yeah, that's right. Did you hear what she said to ours?
Yeah, I heard it. I think that they're trying to trigger black people again
Mm-hmm.
into reacting to their bullshit.
Yeah.
I think that it's a concentrated effort, and I think that they're dedicated to trying to get us out of our skin and out in the streets and getting us to react negatively to, the devil has his time on earth, and he's showing out, and I don't. Yeah.
So you're saying that how do you want to
I'm
say that?
saying that and all things related to Trump, this MAGA bullshit, it's all satanic.
Mhm.
That's what I believe. I believe slavery was satanic. I believe Jim Crow was satanic. I believe the black codes were satanic. I believe the shit that they did during Reconstruction was satanic. I believe America at its core, no matter how much God and Bible thumping they do, they still believe in their guns and they still believe in taking people's lives, whether they're warranted or not. You can see it, they can see them doing it to each other. So they don't have an issue doing it to us. And I think it's all rooted in devil worship and satanic shit. Cause don't nobody that believe in God will literally act and live and be as how America is right now. It's a cult. And we need to call it a cult. It's what it is. It's a cult.
Yeah, it is definitely that. When you look at it, um, we are dealing with some really, 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 really serious stuff. We really are, and trying to maneuver through it is crazy. Um, and it's getting out of hand. Nat, and I know Nat's in the chat. I want to share what you put up earlier, and I want you guys to pay attention to this. Um, I don't know where it kind of originated from, but it says here, if you support the murder of Charlie Kirk, please delete me now. Somebody said that, Mark Cross. So Mark Cross turns around and says, it was a Democrat that shot Charlie Kirk. It's almost time to go Democrat hunting. And that said, I'm scared for folks. We can't say it. It will never happen here. Now, this guy lived in Pollock. I think Nat was telling he lived in, oh, here it goes. It says, this is a guy right here in Pollock. Well, we know Pollock is definitely racist. This is pure hate. This man needs to stop. This man needs to stop by the authorities before people get hurt. Threats like this should not be taken lightly. Please share and tag the proper authority. We must remain safe as a community. Remember, blacks are associated with being Democrats. Please share. Yeah, and I said this, and I put out a post when you said that, Nat, because I thought it was very important. Everybody, don't get it twisted. Everybody are not Democrats and Republicans, regardless of if the state take away independence or whatever, no party, whatever. You still we don't identify as Democrats or Republicans. So you putting out this idle threat, it's gonna hurt you. Okay, it's gonna hurt you. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's gonna hurt you if you do it. We ain't taking
I
it.
I don't.
Go ahead.
What you have to realize is these demons that walk
Mhm.
among us don't care.
Yeah.
They just want to put a label on us. If it ain't woke, it's
Mhm.
liberals. If it ain't
Mhm.
liberals, it's Democrats. If it ain't them, they always got a fuck. They always have a label for us,
Yeah.
and we we're so easily swayed by nice words and kind gestures that we forget that they literally have their hand on our throats.
Yeah.
We're so easily swayed by people with these smiling faces, the Jock Roys of the world, the Roosevelt Johnsons and Reddicks Washingtons of the. We're so easily swayed by relationships and not realizing that those people are in these relationships that are completely disposable, and they'll dispose of you just like they did the rest of them.
Mhm.
But at this point, uh, my recommendation, and this is just me, don't engage with these demons, um, because they don't know they're not moving according to like natural law,
Mhm. Yeah.
and they're not moving according to anything having to do with God or anything godly.
Mhm.
These are people like I can't say it any from the pits of hell. They really are, and they're deceptive, and they lie, and they blame shift, and they project, and they try to put on to you. They literally try to possess you with their bullshit,
Mhm. Yeah.
and they say things that trigger you. And I don't want people to be triggered. I don't want my people to be triggered. And I really, at this point, when we're back to hanging people, uh, I'm ready to draw the line. I don't know who else is going to stand with me, but I really don't. At this point, it don't matter who's standing with you because you got to stand
No.
for something,
Yeah.
or you're
You'll
going to
fall for
be
it.
subjected. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's what they wanted.
Mhm.
Uh, but as far as I'm concerned, they can have it. I know that these demons will never pay for anything that they've actually done wrong.
Mhm.
And justice will never catch up to them, because if it did, then your president would be under a jail. I and these people wouldn't be without jobs. And people wouldn't be living in constant regret or terror. But I can say that I do have hope for the future. I don't know if you could pull up what's happening in Memphis right now, but I don't know who these people think they playing with. Some of these young people are not playing with these people. So I don't know if you know what's happening in Memphis, but if you could pull that up, I would like for you to do that.
Okay,
And you
wait a
got me
minute.
on echo. I don't know. Yeah, no.
No. Uh-uh.
No,
Sorry.
I can hear the echo. It's okay.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Joshua Bart. Okay. Let's see what happens. Mm. Hold up, Tavares.
Yeah, just you could pull up the video.
Um, there's no video.
There's plenty of video.
If there's plenty of video, send it to me. Put it in the room.
I can't. I'm on my mobile device. I can't.
Hold up. But it's not showing that video what you're talking about. According to them, there's supposed to be a video, you guys, saying that some kids stole a tanker.
Not a tank, 2 tanks. They left the military vehicles on bricks. And I don't think y'all really understand what I'm saying. There's YNs and tanks in Memphis.
Oh, it says that's not true. Yahoo.
Okay.
Checked it.
Yahoo's lying to you. I
It
seen it.
says it says a rumor that circulated online September 25 claimed a video showing residents in Memphis stole it, and they didn't do it.
You sure?
That's what it's saying. I'm just saying. I don't
I
listen.
mean,
Snoops,
yeah,
I do
I
not
wouldn't.
take. No, this is Yahoo. Yahoo News is different. Snoops, I do not listen to nothing Snoop says. Nothing. I never have. They found that guy was a pedophile, I think. No, anybody can do that. But they saying that story is not true. That's what they're saying. That story is not true. There's something else.
Yeah, give me just a second.
Okay. I'll give you a second.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
What? No, go ahead. What you gonna say? Good evening, sweetie.
Nothing. I don't.
Yes, that's right. They sure were 318,000. I talked about it earlier before you came on. That I was talking about. I see now you have to literally come outside for these kind of people and be prepared for the consequences of speaking out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we can't rule out jail. That's a part of sometimes of it. Sometimes for speaking facts with these special kind of folks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've seen the video and shared it. Good. Now, there's another video. It's let's see right here. Okay, this talks about this happened here. Let's see. Let me show you guys this. Okay, this is a video they said of a 68-year-old woman in New Brunswick. Cops pepper sprayed and tased and fatally shot a 68-year-old woman in a senior living building. So I'm trying to figure. So hold up. So that's happening. Okay, let me see. That's happened in Memphis. A guy recorded it on his phone. This happened in New Brunswick. Yeah, that was in Memphis. Yeah, New Brunswick. You sure? Yeah. This lady got shot. 68 years old. She's in a senior living facility. Let me see that story because that was just the Instagram part of it. Hold up. The story. Oh, it says here that somebody says the person who put it up said the police refused to release the body cam, but the people produced the murder video. Look at that. It says, looks like 4 cops lured a senior citizen out of her apartment, then lynched her. Do you agree? That's what somebody said. All them people came for that one woman. Notice how videos like these don't get national recognition, but as soon as Mega gets shot after they saying gun violence is necessary, it's plastered everywhere. Mm-hmm. How does it go from pepper spray to tasing to fatally shooting in 3 seconds? In the senior building, these cops are still not trained to deal with seniors, mental health, or dementia. Like in healthcare, we have to do in service every 3 to 6 months just to deal with all the types of patients. So why don't these cops have the same services required when dealing with people every day? Because you got to remember who the cops are. Says who called the police on her and why? The blood is on their hands too. Yeah. Why are you not hearing this on the? Because you know what, y'all. You know what bothers me about us Black people. Y'all quit asking why you don't hear this on national news, because it's not national news to them. Y'all, let me tell you something. When we were working on the case out of Eros, I literally called CNN. We called ABC. We called everybody at the time when they were doing stories like that. Nobody was interested in that story that happened in Eros. Nobody. And it has been similar cases just like that we talk about, that we call, and other people, not just us, other people call to get the information out and get somebody to come and investigate. They were not interested. That's why a lot of these stories don't get put on the national news. Because if it's not making the money, if they think it's not going to make the money, they're not going to pay no attention. Even some of the local news reporting wouldn't even talk about those stories at all. They didn't want to talk about it at all. So don't ask the question why mainstream, because mainstream media don't care. You'll get probably better results from these social media medias than you would get news medias than you would get then. Back then, when the situation happened with Jason Smith, it wasn't a lot of companies back then that were online. Now we probably get help now, but it's over with. But back then, it wasn't a lot of people that was really online doing a lot of this media stuff. We called everybody. We called Roland Martin. We called Al Sharp. We called everybody we thought we could get help from. No. I told y'all we were going to do a march. And we talked to Al Sharpton's group, whatever the name of that group is. That's how I don't pay attention to them anymore. The network, whatever that is. They told us it would cost us $40,000 for him to come down here to march. I'm just saying. So that's why I don't, it just, don't ask for the mainstream media to do anything for us, because they're not going to do it for us. It's not. That's why it's good that we do keep our own cameras and we see things on our own. Okay? You said you ain't Black. Okay. That's why small podcasts like this is very important. Yeah. Thank you for that. Because the thing is, those stories don't get up. Nobody cares. And it's worse now than it ever was. Shoot, they didn't even care about the shooting of the kids at that damn school during the time this guy passed away. They didn't even care. That didn't even faze them. It wasn't even a conversation. Because, like I said before, and I'm going to keep saying it, whenever they do what they've done, there is more guilt to it than what y'all think it is. There's a lot more people guilty of that situation. I don't want to get into it. And it's showing by the things that they're doing. It's showing. There's more guilt going on as a cover-up, behind the scene guilt. That's why they flying flags at half staff and all that stuff. All of that. Somebody said it was a ritual. Somebody said it was a sacrifice. He had the whole fanfare. That's what they're saying. And look, speaking on that just a little bit, did y'all hear that Jimmy Kimmel? I know you probably don't watch late night shows, right? They said Jimmy Kimmel, they immediately took his show down. Let me see. Hold up, y'all. Did you hear that, Tavares?
Yeah, I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel.
I don't watch them either. But they literally here it goes. Let me stop for a minute. Okay, yeah. Okay. So it says here, Kimmel. It says here. Oh, here. Let me see this. Later. Let's see what happened here.
Has better ratings than Kimmel or Fallon. You know that.
They're next. I hear they're going to be going. Well, tonight, an ABC spokesperson confirms that Jimmy Kimmel's late night show has been preempted indefinitely. Now, it comes just hours after a large set of ABC affiliates announced they would refuse to air Kimmel's show. They say because of comments the late night host made on Monday night relating to the motives of the man that shot and killed Charlie Kirk, wrongly suggesting the killer was part of the MAGA movement. He was not. Nexstar, the largest owner of local stations in the country, came out and said it, quote, strongly objects to recent comments made by Kimmel concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk and will replace the show with other programming in its ABC affiliated markets. And if that were the whole story, he said something, it was not correct, the affiliates pushed back, well, then that would be one story. But that, of course, is not the whole story, okay? Because crucially, just hours before that statement, Trump's handpicked FCC chairman went on a podcast and suggested ABC's broadcast license or affiliates could be at risk if they did not suspend or fire Kimmel, essentially issuing an order saying, and I quote him here, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Well, hours later, ABC made the announcement Kimmel would indeed be taken off the air indefinitely. And this is just the latest chapter in Donald Trump's ongoing campaign to crack down on free speech, dominate the media, and essentially render the First Amendment meaningless. An extreme campaign that has been on overdrive the past week. I mean, just yesterday, you had the Deputy Attorney General of these United States, the number 2 of the Department of Justice and the former criminal lawyer for the president, suggesting using criminal anti-racketeering laws, the kind of things used for mobsters, RICO statutes, to go after and prosecute protesters who heckled Donald Trump at a restaurant, who yelled at him. We're also getting new reports today. The White House plans to target a variety of left-leaning groups and nonprofits in the coming weeks, all part of a larger and more dangerous effort underway. And it follows a playbook we have seen successfully run in recent years by authoritarian strongmen in places like Hungary and Turkey and Russia. Because in those places, they didn't just criminalize speech they didn't like, though some of them did some of that. Crucially, they made it virtually impossible to see and hear examples of that speech by taking de facto control of the media landscape. In Hungary, for example, the country's oldest newspaper was suddenly shuttered after being bought by a businessman with links to far-right President Viktor Orban. According to Reporters Without Borders, Orban has used media buyouts by government-connected oligarchs to build a true media empire subject to his party's orders. The group estimates such buyouts have given Orban's party control of some 80% of Hungary's media market resources. It is a similar situation in Turkey, where, according to Reuters, the biggest media brands are controlled by companies and people close to longtime leader Recep Erdogan and his AK party, following a series of acquisitions starting in 2000.
Now, you see what they're trying to do? See what they're trying to do? They fired Jimmy ass. Yep, they fired him. Yes, it was on the news today. Yep. That's exactly important. They're going to go after those churches, 501c3 next, that has something to say about Charlie Boy. Yeah, anybody who say anything against Donald Trump and anybody in that association with Donald Trump, they're going to do it. They sure are. You're right. They're definitely going to do it. And this is why we have to pay attention. You're right. It sounds like South Korea. It sounds like North Korea. It sounds like all of them, any communist. That's why he was just talking about Turkey and Hungary. That's what they're doing there, and Putin in Russia, because they have total control over the media, total 100% control over the media, and that's what he wants to do. But America is not. That the whole point of the makeup of America makeup is not like Turkey and Hungary and Russia. Even though they want to pretend like we are, they're not. Because guaranteed you, they're going to have a lot more pushback than those countries did. A lot more. And we're smaller. It ain't going to be, I'm telling you, people are going to be, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to, what he's trying to do, he's not going to be able to go fall through on at all. What you think, Tar?
Yeah, I don't know. They're doing all the stuff, so I don't know.
No, they're trying to put it in place. Well,
They're
yeah,
doing
you can
it.
say that the action, they already doing it. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Just like
But
Jock is forcing y'all to pay for whatever for the winter fets and the river fets. He's forcing y'all to do that. Y'all don't have a choice in that. They're doing the thing. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. We are doing it. We can't deny it. It is being done in many more ways than we think. They want to shut everybody up. But I just think it's going to be, I think they can try to fight it all they want. I mean, I want to know what he said. That's what I want to know.
He said that Tyler Roberts or Robertson, whatever his name is MAGA, and that's true.
Yes, yeah.
But they don't want people to know that because, like I said, Satan and his minions and his followers and the people that aren't affected by the hate speech, they don't care about the truth. They don't. They don't. So it doesn't matter what the truth actually is. They're always going to go to their default, which is projection, deflection, and being the smallest person in the room with the biggest ego.
Exactly. You're right. You're so right about that. So, and this is why it's good to pay attention. Like you said, Tavares, you said something earlier. You said something about the idea of we don't have to be in it, but we need to keep our eyes open, our heads on a swivel, and we need to continue to learn and find out what's going on around us, right? Just like that guy who made that threat about going Democrat hunting. Somebody should have been knocking on his door. The AP, I mean,
nobody's gonna knock on his door because the sheriffs are the demons too. These deputies are demons as well. So nobody's gonna knock the local Republican. Some of these Democrats and Rapides Parish are demons as well. So they're not gonna admonish him for saying that out loud. They're gonna applaud him when he does it.
Yeah. That's something to think about. Really. That is truly something to think about. If that's what's really going on. You have people afraid to speak out, afraid to talk. But I think it's not, I think it's going to be more of a problem for them than it is for us. I really do. And they, like you said earlier, about them wanting us to get out in the streets. With this lynching of that young black man, they want to get us in the streets. They do. They want us to start marching, protesting, like everybody else doing. Now, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this too. I want you guys to check this out. Let me show you something real quick. Let me tell you what they're doing in Mexico. This is what they're doing in Mexico. You know how we go, not we, because, you know, we don't go to Mexico. I mean, I'm not saying that we, I'm saying them, not, you know what I'm saying. So what they're doing over there in Mexico, they call them digital nomads, people who move around and most of their work is on their laptop, right? So since they have been moving to Mexico, people have noticed how their prices of their homes and everything has gone up, right? So they've been really paying attention to it, and they're like, wait a minute, hold up. This wasn't like this before. So what's happening? What's going on here? So they actually are kicking people out. They're kicking them out. Let's go over here. Let me play a video.
Legacies aren't built in the big moments. They're built in the ones no one sees. So when that moment finally comes, I don't rise to it. I return to it. I've trained.
Gringo, go fucking home. Pero yo no.
The locals in Mexico City have began attacking American-owned businesses, blaming foreign residents and remote workers for the rising cost of living.
La gente está muy molesta y claro, con justa razón.
Esta tarde hubo una marcha en la Ciudad de México contra la gentrificación.
La gentrificación.
Gentrificación. What do you think about gentrification?
About what?
Gentrification.
Gentrification?
Gentrification.
Oh, I think it's important.
Nos están imponiendo otro puto idioma, nos están chingando en la economía, nos están imponiendo sus costumbres, nos están privando de nuestras costumbres.
Llegaron los norteamericanos, nuestros espacios, nuestra cultura se está viendo amenazada. Decía mi amiga, mis chilaquiles ya no pican por su culpa.
¿Cómo se llaman expats?
Expats.
Sí.
Expats como expansión. Expatriotados. Sí, ¿no? Creo que es por eso.
Solo para no llamarse inmigrantes.
Porque
los inmigrantes son de tez morena, son mexicanos, son de Latinoamérica, pero nunca son ellos porque son blancos, son nice, son fancy.
Tú pareces de Los Ángeles. ¿Tú de dónde?
México.
Oh, okay.
Muchas gracias.
Soy de New York.
¿Crees que tú eres parte del problema de la gentrificación?
¿Yo soy parte del problema? ¿Por qué?
No, te pregunto, ¿piensas que eres parte
No, yo vivo aquí permanente. Yo tengo una depa chiquita. He empezado a aprender español hace muchos años.
Yo aquí para Canal 5 Latinoamérica, estamos en vivo y en directo desde el Parque México, donde está ocurriendo una protesta en contra de la gentrificación. Mexicanos molestos por la alza en la...
Okay. So. Oh, he said you're okay. So what I was showing you is they telling them white folks they want them out of Mexico. Basically, they saying get the hell out. No, that's different. They're not talking about black folks. They're talking about people who literally stay there, people who move there. They're talking about people who gentrify Mexico. Their rent, they said their rent to rent an apartment has doubled. They can't even afford to rent apartments. They have to continue staying with their family because they can't afford anything because of them coming in. So they're telling them they want them gone. Since we can't be in your country, you need to get out of ours. That's basically what they're saying. So do you think that's by right? Do you think that's all right, Tamar? Tamar, you think that's correct?
Yeah, of course it's correct. Why wouldn't it be? Yeah. If it's the best thing for Mexico to do to these demons is to expel them.
Mm-hmm.
Got to do something. You can't just let them. Like if he's in Mexico, you know, they don't have no rule or reign over you. So yeah.
Yeah.
The Mexican president, like Trump labeled the cartel as a terrorist organization. So in exchange, the Mexican president, who's a very smart lady, in exchange, she said, well, since that's the case, we need to find out who's arming the cartel. Oh, wait a minute, it's America. So America is actually arming the terrorists. So that makes you a terrorist supplier. And so she said, we're going to crack down on the cartel and the weapons that come in. So we'll see how this goes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. America, believe it or not, America has been doing a lot of shady stuff for years. For years. Okay. Grandma says, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You're right. You're right. I 100% totally agree.
I say let them stay, but enslave them. That's what I say. Enslave them. I don't care about how much money you have. Work your citizenship in. Yeah, you can stay a citizen over here, but I need you to pick cotton. I need you to pick these oranges. I need you to do all of the menial work that we don't want to do. I need you to do that. Stay in Mexico. But I'd make you slaves. I'd literally make them slaves.
Damn. But they got money, Tavares.
I wouldn't care. I'd take it from them.
Yeah.
I'd take it from them and I keep it for myself, and I would buy more of them, and I would trick them and tell them that it's safe to come to Mexico, and you know, we're love, and I have a whole community for them set up just so they could go back to a plantation somewhere in Mexico. I set that shit up so intricate. Yeah, no, come on down. It's a vacation. No, we're offering free trips. Come on through. We're gonna open the borders and everything. Well, you don't need no passport. Yeah, you don't need no passport. Come on down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I the first thing I do is shackle their ass up right at the border.
Not at the border.
And find the nearest orange orchard and tell them to get busy. And whip their ass the whole time. That's what I would do.
You have that
Glad I'm not a Mexican.
Look, you have that much what's the name in you?
They just found a black man hanging in Mississippi from a tree in 2025. Yeah, I would definitely do that to him. I know, but that's the latest one. And yeah, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Yeah. You're right. You're so right.
Then I make America come get them, and then wouldn't release them. I make them come all the way down there and never release them. You got to treat them how they treat you. That's the only language they understand.
Yeah. You said what? That's the only language they don't understand?
That's the only language they understand. Violence, enslavement, and hostile takeovers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I think the Mexican people are definitely on the right track. I would just protest them. I do remember how they used to ride around and burn our homes down and and threaten and to hang us. Yeah, no, I mean if it was good enough for them to use it, why can't the Mexicans do it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, the idea that they're down there where cartel is amazing, and nothing happened to them.
Well, I don't know. That's why they don't never want it. That's why they'll never give black people reparations. That's why they'll never give black people what we're owed. That's why they'll never treat us fair, because they too afraid we might do the shit to them that they did to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why Jockroy got his foot on the people of Alexandria's neck the way he do. Because if it was ever a time, you see what happened when you got 4 black councilmen that was really with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He ran away, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He didn't want to deal with that because he thought they were going to do to him. That he thought that he was going to get embarrassed.
Yep.
And what did he do? He threw a black man in y'all face.
Sure did.
And that's what I noticed. That their way of methodology is to, when they get in trouble, they throw black people in front of other black people, and they think that's supposed to work every time.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, there you go. History of lynching in America. They're talking about how can we not be empathetic and sympathetic to Charlie Kirk. And I told them to go look up the history of picnics. That was my response.
And they get mad when they ignore them when they're trying to amplify their hate. That's right. You're right, Ms. Doctor. You so 100% correct. You are so correct with that. Hold up, you guys. I got all this stuff up. Okay. So, the history of lynching in America. White Americans used lynching to terrorize and control black people in the 19th and the early 20th century. What are lynchings? Lynchings is the public killing of an individual who has not received any due process. These executions were often carried out by lawless mobs, though police officers did participate under the pretext of justice. So think about it. Even your police officers were part of it.
I just told you they were demons.
Mm-hmm. Lynchings were violent public acts that white people used to terrorize and control black people in the 19th, 20th century, particularly in the South. Lynchings typically invoked images of black men and women hanging from trees, but they involved other extreme brutality, such as torture, mutilation, decapitation, and desecration. Some victims were burnt alive. A typical lynching involved a criminal accusation, an arrest, and the assembly of a mob, followed by seizure, physical torment, and murder of the victim. Lynchings were often public spectacles attended by the white community in celebration of white supremacy. Photos of lynchings were often sold as souvenir postcards. And this is the song by Billie Holiday. Actually, the song was written by a white guy. His name is Abel Parapo. Southern trees bear a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swing in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar tree. Yes. How many people were lynched? From 1882 to 1968, there were 4,743 lynchings occurred in the U.S., according to records maintained by the NAACP. Other accounts, including Equal Justice Initiative extensive report on lynching, count slightly different numbers, but it's impossible to know for certain how many lynchings occurred because there were no formal tracking. Many historians believe the true number is underreported. The highest number of lynchings during that time period occurred in Mississippi, with 581 recorded. Georgia was second with 531, and Texas was third with 493. Lynchings did not occur in every state. There are no recorded lynchings in Arizona, Idaho, Maine, Nevada, South Dakota, Vermont, and Wisconsin. Black people were the primary victims of lynching at 3,446, or about 72% of the people lynched were Black. But they weren't only victims of lynching. They were not the only victims of lynching. Some white people were lynched for helping Black people or for being anti-lynching. Immigrants from Mexico, China, Australia, and other countries were also lynched. Allegations behind lynching. White mobs often use dubious criminal accusations to justify lynchings. A common claim used to lynch Black men were perceived sexual transgressions against white women. White women. Charges of rape were routinely fabricated. These allegations were used to enforce segregation and advance stereotypes of Black men as violent, hypersexual aggressors. Hundreds of Black people were lynched based on accusation of other crimes, including murder, arson, robbery, and vagrancy. And vagrancy. Do you understand what vagrancy is? Tamara, do you know what vagrancy is?
Being homeless.
There you go. Being homeless. Many victims of lynching were murdered without being accused of any crime. They were killed for violating social customs or racial expectations, such as speaking to white people with less respect than what white people believed they were owed. Oh, wow. Really?
They do it on Facebook every day.
That's right. You are. As
Yeah,
Black
they
Americans,
handle us. Yeah.
You're right. As Black Americans fled the South to escape the terror of lynching, a historic event known as the Great Migration, people began to oppose lynching in a number of ways. They conducted grassroots activism, such as boycotting white businesses. Anti-lynching crusaders like Ida B. Wells composed newspaper columns to criticize the atrocities of lynching, and several important civil rights organizations, including NAACP, emerged during this time to combat racial violence. NAACP led a courageous battle against lynching. In July 1916, the issue of the Crisis, editor W.E.B. Du Bois published a photo essay called The Waco Horror that featured brutal images of lynching of Jesse Washington. Washington was a 17-year-old Black teen lynched in Waco, Texas, by a white mob that accused him of killing Lucy Fryer, a white woman. Du Bois was able to turn postcards of Washington's murder against their creator to energize the anti-lynching movement. The crisis circulation grew by 50,000 over the next 2 years, and we raised $20,000 toward an anti-lynching campaign. So he got a hold to the postcards, and he used them to push this campaign. In 1916, NAACP published 30 Years of Lynching in the United States, 1889 to 1919, to promote awareness of the scope of lynching. The data in this study offer the gruesome facts by numbers, years, state, color, sex, and alleged offense. Among the campaign's other efforts from 1920 to 1958, we flew a flag from our national headquarters in New York that bore the words, "A man was lynched yesterday." The campaign turned the tide of public opinion and even persuaded some Southern newspapers to oppose lynching because it was damaging the South's economic prospects. You see, it goes all the way back to what? Capitalism. It says the South's economic prospects. So that means that once everybody found out that they were doing all those lynching, people stopped spending money. You see how the power of the dollar can be? It says we also fought hard for the anti-lynching legislation In 1918, Congressman Leonidas Dyer of Missouri first introduced his anti-lynching bill, known as the Dyer Bill, into Congress. NAACP supported passage of the bill from 1919 onward, though it was defeated by a Senate filibuster. NAACP continued to push for federal anti-lynching legislation all the way into the 1930s. National lynching rates declined in the 1930s, a trend that NAACP Executive Secretary Walter White attributed to the anti-lynching activism, shifts in public opinion, and the Great Migration. The first full year without a recorded lynching occurred in 1952. So they did, 1952. Damn. Henry wasn't even born then. Damn. The lynching of Emmett Till, y'all know this story already. Modern day lynching, you might think of lynching as a disgraceful and barbaric practice from the past, but they continue to this day. In 1998, James Byrd was chained to a car by 3 white supremacists and dragged to his death in the streets of Jasper, Texas. In 2022, Ahmaud Arbery was fatally shot while jogging near Brunswick, Georgia. The 3 white men charged with killing Arbery claimed he was trespassing. The videotaped death of George Floyd was a modern-day lynching. Floyd was killed in broad daylight by police officer Derek Chauvin, who held Floyd down with a knee on his neck for more than 9 minutes. Lynchings like these should not be part of American society today, just as they should not have been 100 years ago. So NAACP will continue to fight back against white supremacy and violence and demand that people responsible, including law enforcement officers, be held accountable. Now, hold up. Okay, here's another one. Walter White lynching investigation featured in the Crisis. The lynching of Mary Turner, May 1918 in Georgia. I don't know if you guys remember this. Anyway, Brooks Loudoun County, Georgia was one of the lynching investigations by Walter White on behalf of the NAACP. Abusive plantation owner Hampton Smith was shot and killed. A week-long manhunt resulted in killing of Mary Turner's husband, Hayes Turner. Mary denied that her husband had been involved in Smith's killing, publicly opposed her husband's murder, and threatened to have members of the mob arrested. On May 9, 1918, a mob of several hundred brought her to Folsom Bridge, tied Mary's ankles, hung her upside down from a tree, doused her in gasoline and motor oil, and set her on fire. She was still alive when a member of the mob split her abdomen open with a knife. Her unborn child fell to the ground, was stunned and crushed. Mary's body was riddled with hundreds of bullets. The September 1918 issue of the Crisis carried account of the lynching. Then there was a lynching, Jesse McElhern on February 19th in Tennessee. Another Walter White investigation for NAACP. He was a black man who resented the slights and insults of white men. He stayed armed and the sheriff feared him. On February 8th, 1918, he got into a quarrel with with 3 young white men who insulted him. Threats were made, and McHerron shot and killed 2 of the men. McHerron fled to the home of a black clergyman who aided him to escape and was later shot and killed by a mob. McHerron was captured and lynched. He was chained to a hickory tree. A fire was built and the torture began. Bars of iron were heated and the mob amused themselves by putting them close to McHerron without touching him. He grasped at a bar, and as it was jerked from his grasp, the inside of his hand came with it. Oh my God. Then the real torturing began, lasting 20 minutes. During that time, while his flesh was slowly roasting, Jesse never lost nerve. He cursed those who tortured him and almost to his last breath derided the attempts of the mob to break his spirit. Wow. Did you guys hear that? I know I fumbled through that. Wow. Like they throwing Al Sharpton in our face right now. Yeah, sit that little light bulb head ass, excuse my language, head ass boy down. Man, yeah, I'm not gonna call him a boy, a man. That FBI informant. This is why
You can
Mississippi.
call him a boy. They call him a boy. Why can't you call him a boy?
I'm not gonna call him a boy. A little light bulb.
He's a boy. He's a boy. They call him a boy. Call him what the white folks call him. They call him boy.
Mm-hmm. Who was gonna go way to Arizona, Idaho, and Maine to find out? Nobody. 2025, a truck driver was hung. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure was. I remember that story, Nat. You're right. It was a truck driver. He was talking to his wife, and he said he had to stop. And I ain't heard from him since. Found him home. It's crazy that we still got sundown
And
time.
that was in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It said, excuse me. It said that we still have sundown times. We shouldn't be having sundown time. Somebody actually put together a map of sundown time. Let me see if we can find that map.
Yeah, that would be good to see.
Let's see. Here we go. Can y'all see that? Let me see if y'all know. Can't see it yet. Let me pull it up. This is your sundown towns in America. The gray ones you don't know. The pink ones possible. The darker pink ones is probable. The surely ones are the red ones. And the
Hold down your alt button and scroll up on your mouse.
okay, like this.
No, the scroll wheel.
Like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it brings them out. So these right here, Ava, Illinois, they all over Illinois in these areas right here. Y'all see that? These are all your sundown towns.
What are the ones that in Louisiana?
Let's see. Hold up. Let me see. That's Little Rock, Arkansas. They claim. Oh, wait a minute. What is this one? Hold up. Pollock. Y'all, look. Pollock.
And you wonder that's a lot of them backwoods tobacco swallowing dip snuffing cousin inbreds are on KLAB's comment section saying that evil, weird, demonic shit about black people in general. That's their code words. That's when they call them thugs and monkeys and all the other stuff that they throw at us. They're right there. They're right there in Pollock. Where's the prison at?
It says right here, it's in Pollock. It says we got to Pollock, Louisiana about midnight. In front of the town was a sign that says "Nigger, stay out of Pollock." Well, we in 2014, all 125 of us armed with full packs, saying at the top of our voices, John Brown's body lies in moldering in the ground, but his soul goes marching on louder and louder. And the lights went on throughout Pollock. Perhaps the Civil War had begun. Again, Pollock was somewhat unusual for it forbade black people into the town. That guy from
But they got
Pollock
a
got
whole
made
bunch of them inside that prison. That's what I'm saying. They put a prison. They just like they put Johnny Downs on a plantation. Just like majority of the properties and the street names are named after these Confederate people, these Confederate demons are right there in Alexandria. That's why you have Lee Street and Jackson Street and Bolton. And that's why you have those things there, because these people still believe that. That's why it wasn't until 4 or 5 years ago, or 8 years ago, you got your first black mayor of a predominantly black town.
Yeah.
It never went anywhere. That's why you have a Confederate monument in front of your courthouse. And they think that we don't know this. And they don't want they don't want us telling these people what's going on, because they want to keep them inundated in the bullshit and the poverty. But it's a system, and there's people that participate. There's black people that participate. And it's just a shame that the ignorance that spreads so quickly. And it's a shame that people do so much to conceal and hide and obfuscate and tell you that it's just for you, it's just the way it always has been. That's just how it is.
Yep.
They put a prison in a sundown town. Think about that.
Yep. Sure did. This is so amazing that, and the only reason why a lot of these are, well, the sundown town are mainly predominantly white towns. That's why they can't say that all across Louisiana, because we're mixed in everywhere. The Bill should be one, but it's not on here. Buckeye should be one, but it's not on here. They got one as a possible one in Cross Spring, excuse me. Down in New Orleans, they have Jean Lafitte, and then they have Golden Meadow, and then they got Grand Isles. Those are all possible. In Baton Rouge, by Baton Rouge and Lafayette, I said that already. And then you have one in Anacoco, and then you have one and a possible. These are all possibles. I'm not calling them sundown town. In Simpson, Louisiana. And then this one right here, this is Pitkin, Louisiana. And then, like we said, Pollock. So yeah. Let's see, Georgia. This is weird. Mississippi, why black town? Oh, okay. So these are black towns right here. Pearl, Mississippi is a possible. This is a black town. Exposed. Baxterville. So let's go over here to California. I was interested in California. California got a lot. Woo-wee! Inglewood, Bear Lair, Southgate, Huntington Beach. They got a whole bunch of them. Sundown towns in these areas right here. Shit, California, excuse me. Look at this. Kerrville, Kingsburg, Fresno, Rio Grande, Watsonville. Damn, y'all not playing. California. Let's see up in Washington. I know up in Washington they should have it. But there's a lot of white people up in Washington. And let me tell y'all something. I'm going to say this. When I was in the military over 100 years ago, some of our black brothers just made me so sick. because they love going to Washington State at Fort Lewis, because they know that a lot of them love them white women, and they would brag about, even though their families didn't even like them, but they would brag because they had no choice, because wasn't a lot of us up there. Period, black women up there. Trenton, Illinois. Illinois got a lot of them. Woo wee, all through here. Let's see over here. Trenton, Michigan. They got a Trenton, Illinois. Then you got a Trenton, Michigan. Westland, Fraser, Grosse Pointe. Let's see. Powell, Miss. Okay, what is these red flags? Town of special interest. Okay, I don't know what that means. Let's see over here. Spring Lake. I'm trying to see something. I don't remember none of these places. Grosse Pointe. Okay. I'm just thinking about how cold it be up there. Y'all too damn cold to be talking about being racist, but I guess that don't matter. Oh, look at over here. Wait a minute. How do you? I know that ain't Albany, New York, talking about some doggone sundown town. Delmar? Okay. I was little, so I don't know. I don't know about no tech. That's Pennsylvania. Sea Cliff, Pennsylvania got a lot of them. Look at that. Baltimore, Maryland, Chevy Chase, Savage. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Etna, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Etna, Minnesota. What is this? Kayapaya County. Because we ain't up there. Texas should have more too. That's kind of strange that Texas don't have a lot of them. Because Texas, they remember Texas where a lot of lynching happened at back in the day. Remember they had the third largest in hanging and lynchings. That's interesting, y'all. I'm sorry, I wasn't ignoring y'all. Let me get back up here. I'm sorry. Let's see where did we leave off at. Oh, that was the last one. That you didn't say nothing? Okay. All right, so you guys, we got a little bit of history in lynching in sundown towns. Oh, and that was talking about, I wanted to see something, one more thing, because I definitely have to get off here. Let's see here now. You were talking about the lynching laws in Mississippi. Lynching laws. Okay, it says here, there is no specific, let me let you guys see this real quick. So it says here, Mississippi has no specific lynching laws of its own, but is subject to the federal Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act of 2022, which designates lynching as a federal hate crime. This act makes it a federal offense, when a conspiracy to commit a hate crime results in death of a seriously bodily injury. It carries perhaps penalties up to 30 years in prison and a fine. History of anti-lynching legislation. For decades, anti-lynching legislation was blocked in Congress. For decades, they wanted to make sure America can still hang people. The Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act signed in 2020. Again, you guys, listen to when I say they turn something into an act. That means it can be changed. You want it to always be an amendment. That's why they don't mess with that Constitution. They have an issue with messing with that Constitution and changing things and adding stuff on. This should not be an act. It should be an amendment in the Constitution. It was a landmark piece of legislation that finally made lynching a federal crime. The act is named after Emmett Till, a 14-year-old boy who was murdered in Mississippi in 1955, and his murder helped galvanize the civil rights movement. It makes lynching a federal hate crime, which includes conspiracies that lead to death or serious injury. It provides the prosecution and punishment at a federal level. Why is this important for Mississippi? While Mississippi has a history of tolerating lynching, this federal law ensures that perpetrators can be prosecuted even if state laws are inadequate. The law serves as a recognition of thousands of victims of lynching throughout American history, including in Mississippi. Yeah. So it says here that somebody asked the question, when did lynching become illegal in Mississippi? Lynching became a federal crime. See, it won't even say in the state level. It says it became a federal crime in the U.S. when President Biden signed the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act into law on March 29, 2022, making it a federal hate crime punishable up to 30 years in prison. While the act applies to all states, Mississippi, like other states, previously had anti-lynching efforts, but those were often blocked by powerful opposition. So they don't. So the states don't even want it. Okay. They even
And
want
can
it.
when they talk about the powerful opposition, who do you think they're talking about?
They talk about people with money, people like Republicans, and probably even some Democrats. I wouldn't put it past Democrats. I wouldn't. I don't put nothing past them. Everybody up for sale. Think about it from that standpoint. Everybody up for sale. Everybody. And you guys don't, that is not a remedy. Because believe it or not, that demon that's sitting in that office right now, that demon can go after that bill if he wanted to. It's an act. He got all the right people in place to do it. It's an act. It's a difference. It's an act. It's an act. So, the wisdom, Wednesday wisdom, we learned a little bit about a little bit of everything. But I want you guys to stay alert, pay attention to what's going on around you. These demons, as Tavares calls them, they're in full effect. They don't care who they hurt and how they hurt. They want to do what they want to do. And at the end of the day, this is going to be something we're looking forward to. These next 2 years, y'all, I hope he gets out before these 4 years are up. I hate to say it. I hope he be gone before then. I don't know what's coming after him, but it's got to be better. Because America is in trouble. I'm just saying, America is in trouble. Hold up here. I want to show y'all something. What somebody said. And I'm going to leave this here. Let's see here. I thought it was funny, so I shared it. It says here's a joke circulating in Germany. What borders on stupidity? Mexico and Canada. What do you think they're saying?
I think you told the joke wrong.
Here's a joke circulating in Germany. What borders on stupidity? Mexico and Canada. That's what it says.
There you go. You got to read it like a joke.
Okay, you read it like a joke.
You just did it. You did good.
I don't know what I said. So who do you think they're talking about?
What's in between Mexico and Canada?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay. Well,
America. America. That's what. Ain't that crazy? Okay.
yep.
Enough of that. Okay. Yeah. Stop sharing. So we're gonna leave it right there. Let me see. Big trouble. You're right, Miss Linda. You sure right. How you been doing, Miss Linda? Y'all, we gotta get back on our we gotta get back on our calls, man. I'm missing y'all. We gotta all get back on our calls again. We ain't did no think tanking in a long time. Tank thinking in a long time. Okay, you guys. We shall be back Friday. Hopefully nothing happens and we'll be able to come back Friday and talk on this level. See, we didn't talk, well, Tavares, you brought up Alexander a lot, which was an example to what we were talking about. But yet, I feel a little bit better when we're not bogged down having to talk about Alexander so much. Really, it feels better for me. I don't know about y'all. That we can look at everything because we need to be paying attention to everything, not just local. But one young lady said something too. She said exactly what we've been saying, you guys. She said, don't get so caught up on the national level. Look at the local too, because that affects us directly. And you know, we have been saying that forever. But see, now we're at a point where we can do both because we done talked out of death about local stuff. Yeah, we can move on now. We can move it on now. Right? Okay. So you guys, I want you to have a great night. Thank you for hanging out with me. You guys check out most everything I do. Y'all do anyway. Support me, you guys. Thank everybody so far who has joined my Substack as paid and free subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My Substack is down at the bottom of the screen. Get involved. I love being over there. I'm really contemplating letting Facebook go because you can even do audio over there. You can do videos over there. You can do podcasts over there. You can do everything over there. So until I hear something different about Substack, I'm gonna stay on it for right now. And also, I have subscribers. I don't want to just abandon them. But yeah, love it. So you guys have a great evening. Take care. And I am out. Bye-bye, you guys.